Hey guys, it's been a while. As you can tell, I'm outside again. I really don't like being outside, but I do believe it looks the best compared to my house. Yeah, we're outside again. Just wanted to jump here and let you guys know, some updates in my life. Because I believe my last update was that I found that job. I finally found a job after, I want to say, like 9 months of unemployment. Um, yes, so things have been happening. So let's get to it. So with that job, I'm no longer working there. um, let's rewind. I want to give you a short version of this. Let's rewind to 6 months ago. Okay, 6 months ago, I told you guys. 6 months ago? Mm, I'm also a bit confused at the time. A few months ago, I told you guys, how nervous and excited I was, how grateful I was I found a job. It still holds true. But on my first day, let's just say the moment I came home, I went back on job sites. Uh, it was a tough job, and I'm a tough girl. I can persevere, I know I'm resilient, and I'm adaptable. I can do anything once I learn how, and I learn fast. But that job, it was not as advertised. There was an element of it that really weighed on my consciousness. And I would say that's the hardest part. It really weighed on me. And every day I came home, I felt like, oh, what am I doing? Even on my weekends, I cannot rest. I cannot take it easy. And it's really tough. Yeah, so there's also a lack of support from the supervisors, the managers, the higher ups. And it makes the job really tough when there's no support and when everything is falling apart. Everything's falling apart. There's a fire and there's no one to help you, and I don't know how to use this fire extinguisher, and I'm just doing my best. So everything's falling apart. Yeah. And that was 3 whole months of last year. So the end of the year. Yeah, it was 3 months of that, and I was frantically searching for a job because I just couldn't handle it anymore. And luckily, my friend was leaving hers, and she asked me if I wanted her job, and I said, "Hell yes, give me anything. I do not care." I didn't even really know what she did, but she set up a meeting with her boss, and it just worked out, and here I am. I have been working this new job for 3 months, and I can say it's been really great. I work from home, and I'm actually currently filming on my lunch break. My boss is really supportive, and it felt like a complete 180 from the previous job, where this one is chill. Sometimes it's stressful, but it's not so stressful that I'm not able to rest after work. I can still compartmentalize. I can still have my 5 to 9 after my 9 to 5. And it's been awesome. Yeah. Another update is that while working that job, I actually turned 30, which means the last year of my 20s was a shithole. It's a shithole. I was unemployed for a few months. I finally find this job. And then it turns out to be the worst job I've ever had in my life. So it was such a twisted way to end my 20s. But I'm in my 30s now. And I can say the past few months have been really great. It felt like a complete opposite of what last year was. And so I'm really grateful. This year, I'm trying to cultivate a very gratitude focused mindset. I'm very grateful, and um, this year I'm also trying to be stable. That's what I want this year, stability, and not like last year. Last year was chaotic. No one knew what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. Yeah, but this year I want to focus on being stable, financially stable, emotionally stable, everything to do with stability. Yeah, so that's my goal this year. But I also wanted to talk to you guys about how I feel being in my 30s. My 30s are not turning out the way I expected them to be. Um, when I was in my early 20s, I had expected or envisioned that by 30, I would be married. I'd have two kids and a big house, big car. Um, but here I am, 30, talking to my phone on a weekday. I'm not married. I don't have kids. I feel like a child myself. I rent a house and I'm still driving a tiny car that my dad got me like over a decade ago. So, yeah, I can say that it's not turning out to be what I expected. But I think that's reality, right? That's life. A lot of us may not be living the 30s that we expected. But if you are, then I'm happy for you, and perhaps you're one of the lucky ones. And so I'm here, 30, and I'm thinking, how did I derail so much? What has happened? You know? Like all of those expectations, and here I am. Like, I am working a job that is maybe not long term, or maybe it is, but I don't know. I haven't found one that has stuck with me yet. Yeah, so how did I get here? That's something that I've been trying to avoid because it hurts, Like, how did I go so far from what I expected? But that's life. And I also think that it's a different path from what I would have wanted for myself, but it's also not too bad a path, the one that I've been walking on as of late. Yeah, the sun's going away. I really hope it doesn't rain. Hmm. So, yeah, how do I make sense of this all? I'm not where I wanted to be, and I'd like to think I did everything right. I got my degree, I got my master's, I got my license in what I thought I wanted to do. I found my partner, I made my friends, I made my memories, and yet, this is where I am in my 30s. But I also like to think that I'm walking my own path at my own pace. And there's nothing wrong with that, I guess. I'm really learning to accept that. I might achieve all that I wanted maybe in the next few years of my life, in the next decade. And that's okay because in my 20s and my first year of being 30, I've made a lot of memories and I've achieved things that I didn't think I would have wanted for myself in my early 20s, nothing that I've envisioned, really. Yeah. Yeah, I experienced some stuff in my 20s that I didn't think I would have wanted. You know, the main one is that I went to New Zealand. I was washing toilets, I was like cleaning dishes, and it's not something that I've ever considered, ever thought I would have want in my life. And yet, here I am recounting it and knowing that it's one of my most treasured memories because I got to meet so many like people and connect with them, and just I got to experience living in a different part of the world, like completely unknown to me. And it was so wonderful. It was really adventurous, and it, like, this whole experience instilled something in me. This desire for adventure, the sense of whimsy, And it's not something I would have ever envisioned for myself in my 20s. But here I am, having this this great desire and not knowing how to achieve that. But I'm hoping that maybe in my 30s I will be able to integrate a bit of that into my life. I don't know at all what my 30s will look like. And some of those things on my list, like getting married, having kids, it's still something that I very much want and would like to achieve in the next decade. Um, but all of this is also a reminder for myself that I'm walking a path that I don't know, and these choices that I make, I don't know if they are the best for me, the right ones, but honestly, who does? But I know they always lead me to somewhere interesting. They always lead me somewhere. And this current choice I've made has led me here. And even though my 20s, my 30s, my first year of my 30s, it's not what I envisioned for myself, I honestly don't hate where I am right now. Which is crazy. Because if I were talking to like 23-year-old me, I think I would lose it. Yeah, I would very much lose it, but for now, 30-year-old me is content with where I am, and I think that's all I can ever ask for. To be content, to be present. Something I still remind myself to do, to be present. Yeah, I have a lot of my 30s laid out ahead of me. I still don't know where I'm going, what I'm doing with my life, but I'm excited to find out, and I'm excited to see what I would have achieved by the time I turn 40. Yeah,